Okay, I think we're live. If this is going, we shall see. I'm going to set up the other phone. You guys are going to hear the battery going because it is going to continually run because it's super. Oh my gosh! Now it's continually run because it's super. Oh my gosh! Okay, sorry about that. Okay. So today I thought we would make some ferments together, but I have a bit of cooking to do first. So let me see if I can get this where it's actually showing here. So I wanted to show you first my coffee pot because I make several things out of cotton, and I wanted to show you how I use these in the kitchen. Now, this one is a newer coffee insert, a newer coffee filter. And this obviously is an older one. You can see when they get old, they have quite a patina on them, but it doesn't mean they're bad. It just has gone through the coffee making process so many times that it's stained. So what you do is I use Perk coffee maker, put your filter on, and I already have my coffee grounds. So we'll use this older one just so you can see what it's like. Put your coffee filter on in the middle, and then we're going to get the coffee. I have a blend that I like to make myself, and I put it in there just like that. And then you can use these filters over and over, which is really nice. And you'd be surprised what kinds of stuff is in other coffee filters. Sometimes they put bleach in there. They can use petroleum products, and you just don't want to heat that up and put it into your body. So use this type of coffee filter if you would like, and you can make these easily yourself. I've done a short on them before. Like I said, you don't have to do any kind of pinking on the edges. You can just cut a square and then you put holes in it like a dice, and then you can use that for your coffee filter. I've done that for decades. So that's a really great way to save money. Let me adjust the camera a little bit here. See if I can get that a little further over. Oh, darn. Okay. So next we are going to go to the ferments, and that's because I have this new seaweed ferment, and I've been meaning to do the edits for this video, but I did record the making of this. It just is a whole bunch of edits. And so in here is seaweed and then equal amounts of sugar. I'm going to hold this up so you can kind of see what's in there. And I had to put it in a bowl because these are very sweet. They have the sugar in there, and the ants want to eat it up. So, oh dear, I can't. Oh, there's my spoon. Okay. So you want to just stir this maybe once a week and make sure it all stays down and is fermenting. See the bubbles come up? Look at that. That is just great. That means it's really going. And you just stir that in and make sure that it's all underneath and it's staying well covered. It becomes very, look at that, very syrupy. And it did that like right at the beginning, almost like making candy. The ferment from the seaweed made a very slimy kind of viscous liquid, and I think it's going to make a really good ferment. Now I have some seaweed extract. Let me show you that. And you know what? I really shouldn't waste that that's even on the spoon there. I'm going to put that spoon in the edge there. Oops, wrong thing. So you want to cover this with mesh so that it can breathe. And I just put that lid on the top just like that. So it won't lose too much liquid, but it can still breathe. Or if it bubbles, it's not going to burst the glass. So I'm going to move this out of the way. And be sure to put this, like over here, you want to put this into another bowl because it's going to have ants trying to get in. So I make a big moat for it so that the ants can't get to the seaweed stuff. I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay. Now, where is the other seaweed? Hold on. I don't have it. Oh my goodness. Hang on, I got to get the other seaweed. I must have got, there it is. Okay. This is a seaweed extract. This is from 12/24/25. So Christmas Eve, I made this. There's just a little tiny bit left in the jar. So I'm going to kind of mix that with the other. Look at that. Because you don't need a lot of this mix in order for it to really be powerful for your gardens. And what's great about that is that the seaweed can help your plants actually do better in the heat. And so you really want to utilize whatever you can get from the ocean, or even if you have lakes that have seashells and things like this, those would be wonderful. It looks like my face is never in here. Okay. Anyway, you want to put that in there. There I am. Hello. Okay. You want to put that on the gardens as either a foliar spray, or you could use it as like a covering, an addition to your mulch. I have a very thick mulch. And so I just added some water to that. There was about a half a teaspoon of the extract. And then I'm going to also include, that's kefir. Where's the bone extract? There it is. This is a bone extract. And I have another shortcoming on a bone extract that I just did. So you can see what that looks like when the bones are finished. This one is from a turkey in November of 2024. So you can see that they last quite a long time. So I'm just going to put this in with this and let that kind of stir. And I end up using my wood spoon for all kinds of things. So I'm going to mix this, and then I'm going to put this into about 2 gallons of water. So you dilute them really far. And I need just a teaspoon of that. And I don't really go too crazy putting metal in with my extracts or my ferments because I don't want it to interfere with what it's already done. So I always pour into my measuring spoons. So keep that in mind. You don't want to, and the extracts, like you can see here, this is a bone extract, and look at what the vinegar has done to the lid. You can really see they are tough on it, but they last. And, you know, when you're finished with the jar, just get a new lid. Oh, I'm just sweating. Let's see how hot it is. 94 at 6 o'clock at night. Yep. It's August. Okay. And then we are going to move to this. So this is another oceanic extract. This one is from seashells, and it's finally looking good. This has taken quite some time. These are ocean seashells, and they kind of grew a crust on them. Oh, and they're finally soft. Look at that. That's what you want. You want your seashells to be soft, and seashells are extremely hard. The last time I checked this, you could not do this to the shells at all. They were way too hard. Oh, that one still is. Look at that tough thing. That little shell is still hard. Wow. Let's see. You can definitely smell it. Has that ocean. All right, so the mussel ones really went into this ferment. So what I'm going to do is all these shell pieces are going to go into the compost. And then what I had in there was this vinegar stone, and so that just keeps them all from floating. But these are really, really in good shape, and it has a very ocean smell. a little bit fermented, not fermented, I'm not sure, pickled maybe, because they have sat in vinegar since, oh, I didn't have the tag on here, it fell off, it's in the cabinet. Keep all these extracts in a dark cabinet. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Now that one, oh no, even that one's got all kinds of stuff. The ravens are doing something out there. Okay. So once these are kind of crushed a little bit, I will put them into the compost. But for now, we can put that into another container. So we're going to strain this off. Oh my goodness, I forgot the whole reason why I wanted to go live today. I'm so silly. I was so worried about getting everything set up. Today is my shop, Sprouted Dreams, birthday. And Sprouted Dreams is 10 years old today. I can't believe it's like my baby turned 10, double digits. Anyway, we're just going to pour this in and let the seashells get caught in the mesh. So, I wanted to let you know if you wanted any types of cotton food wraps or the sprouting kits or the hair forks and things that I make from my shop. You know, look, those little shells are at every lake and ocean, and look, they just crumble. They're just great. All that is going to go into the compost. Look at that. You cannot do that with regular seashells. So, all right. Look at that. Amazing. So there is a coupon page. There's a page on my site, SproutedDreams.com, that says Sprouted Dreams is 10. And it has the number 10. So if you go to that page, Sprouted Dreams is 10, you will see the coupon code. And the whole site is 15% off today. And there's always free shipping. And if you wanted to follow with more fairy garden stuff, I have some longtime people that purchase from me specifically for the fairy garden things, because that's how I started my shop, was with fairy garden stuff. And I love it, but honestly, it has parts that are not healthy for me. The varnishing and the sanding is pretty intense. And so it made me think I want to be, you know, I've always followed a lifestyle of being health conscious, but it's even more so now as I get older. And I want to really focus on that for the next 10 years. So I want to do more of the homesteading and cottagecore, because that's how I live. I mean, that's actually me. So all these shells are going to go in the compost. And I'll rinse this out, and it's ready for the next ferment or extract. Just be sure whatever you ferment or you do as an extract, put it in glass or ceramic like this. So here is our, let me put these in the compost. Okay. All right, so it's kind of a gray-green color, if you can see that. And it has a definite kind of seaweed smell. That is just beautiful. And we're going to add that. That is our extract. I'm going to add a little bit of this to our mix there. And then this is going to go in a bucket and be diluted. And I'm just going to sprinkle it. So I would just put my hands into the bucket and sprinkle, just like that. Just sprinkle it onto your mulch. I have a big, thick mulch on the front garden. And that is what's going to feed it and give it the nutrients it needs to help through this heat. So this seashell extracts are with vinegar, and a ferment is what you make where it ferments actually, like, you know, like booze, like beer or wine. You mix it with sugar and let it actually make an alcohol, and then that's what you use. You can use molasses as well. Don't use honey for your ferments, because honey actually stops the fermentation. Honey is antimicrobial, and so it actually stops kind of the fermentation, which is really what you want. So, okay, here is the spoon. I'm going to set that aside, and we are going to move on to a bit of cooking, I believe. So this, let me finish making this up and I'll show you. This is about a teaspoon of the bone extract, about a teaspoon of the seashell extract, and then about a half a teaspoon of the seaweed. Is that a seaweed extract? Yes. The other is the seaweed ferment. That's our first one. Okay. Where's my bucket? Okay. So here's my big bucket, 2-gallon bucket. And what I'm going to do is fill that with water, and then I'll just mix this in. And then I will just, like I said, sprinkle it near the plants that I feel are kind of, bothered by all of that heat. Well, they all are. Okay. Sorry, my lines get air. Our well is about 8,000 feet away, and then our tank is way up on the hill, and sometimes it gets air. All right. So, in my old horse bucket here, we're just going to pour that in. And then outside, I'll just make sure that's all mixed, and I will just spread with my finger. See? Just like that. Out on the gardens. And, oh my gosh, I forgot about the beans. I was going to do the beans with you. Where are my beans? Maybe I'll put them into a different container. I'll just show you what I'm going to do. Okay. Wash my hands really quick. All right. I'm going to wash that off too. Okay. It is so hot. Okay. I have a couple of these. They are going to be tortillas. And I will put a post in the community thingamajiggy. There we go. Let's see if we can get this, down here. Okay. We are going to take these, and you take your parchment paper. You'll see I used these already, but there's no reason to throw away parchment paper just because you used it to roll some tortilla dough out. And these are very easy to make, and they're super fun. It's just if you're in a hurry and you're trying to make your lunch, wow, you don't feel like doing it. So try to make them up beforehand. And I will do, I did a video of it. Again, it's just the editing. So flatten them out. This is the only part that's like any kind of time-consuming part, is rolling your tortillas. So just between parchment paper, they won't stick, and they get nice and thin. Now, some people have tortilla presses, which I've always been so envious of. But you can do it just like that, and then spread it like you would do pizza dough. And that is how you get your tortillas. And I like to put fresh herbs in mine. So this one has oregano. And they just taste so much better. I mean, I'm not opposed to, usually we use the Ezekiel sprouted grain tortillas, and I do love them. And I use them regularly because, you're busy and you need to just have the stuff there. But if you have time and you can handle this kind of fiddliness, because they are kind of fiddly. See, you want it to be very thin. You want it to be almost kind of see-through. On the window like that, you can kind of see through. And then you're just going to put that onto a hot iron skillet. And it makes the best tortilla, like hands down. You will love it. And they're easy. They're just flour, a little bit of baking powder. And if you haven't watched my short on making your own baking powder, be sure to catch that, because baking powder is super easy to make. Okay, So I'm going to set this over here on my other little cutting board. And that one is ready to go. And I'll cook that just as soon as we're done with this live. My goodness, the battery is really having a time over there. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but it's just blowing the fan the whole time. Crazy. We do not have electrical grid here, so you guys are on Starlink and the battery is doing its thing. I've got the panels out in front, but it's just been miserable hot. Terrible. And I hear that some places, they have lots of rain. I mean, it's just craziest year ever. I want to focus on making my sort of corner of the world better. And I hope that you are too, because that's the only way that you can move forward these days. I mean, whatever sort of direction you look, there's going to be something negative. But I mean, we all can do our own little part of the world, right? You can make it so that you do better with your family and your life and your cooking and your land. Even if your land is just a potted plant, I mean, we've all got to kind of do that kind of work, whether it's important to someone else or not. I think if it's valid for you and your family, that's what counts. Okay. And I may go live again tomorrow morning just to show you guys some of the hair forks I'm working on. I really wanted to do a lot more of them. We had a death in the family, and that threw me off quite a bit. So I had a couple weeks there where I didn't post so much, and I just couldn't function very well. But I mean, you have to move on. I suppose I did hear the dog whisperer actually saying that he looks forward to, you know, he tries to be energetic and happy when someone dies, whether it's his, you know, someone he loved or a dog that he loved. And I'm like, wow, that's really good, but that's kind of hard to pull off. I don't know. Can you be happy when someone has passed? That's really tough. Really tough. So it's a good example, though. All right. So you see how long that takes to stretch these out? And I will stretch them one more time before I put them in the skillet. And they are a little bit smaller than a typical tortilla. So usually I have 2 burritos a day. And these I will take sometimes 3 because they are a bit small. But when you have them like this and you have your parchment paper, just put your parchment paper in between and then they won't stick. So that's a really great way. And I am working on some prototypes. I wanted to show you guys. This one is, I originally made this for nut milks. And it's a little bit too dense for that. But it has really nice seaming in there. I did French seams. And the closure is just easy peasy. So what I'm thinking of doing is taking these and making them like a lunch sack so that when you use the cotton food wraps, like I do use every day, you can put your burritos or sandwiches or whatever into this type of bag and put that into your ice chest just so they have another layer of protection to help keep everything organized in your lunch pail. I mean, I have a big ice chest that I carry with me because I carry a half a gallon of herbal tea and a half a gallon of water, and then I have a big jug of coffee. So that's kind of what I do in my lunch every day. And then I have slop, and I have a wonderful thing to show you. I am doing some new cotton inserts for your plasticware. I think I did a short on that, but they've been going really well. I just have to kind of perfect those, and they'll go into the shop hopefully next week. So I just wanted to say hello and share Sprouted Dreams birthday with you. The sale on the site is today and tomorrow, and it's 15% off everything on the site. And then the Etsy shop is a higher discount because I'm trying to move the fairy garden stuff out. So the pre-made fairy garden, mainly the doors that are pre-made, are 25% off there. So go to the page that says Sprouted Dreams is 10, the number 10, and on that page you'll see all the coupon codes for the site or for Etsy, and it's today, Saturday, August 1st, tomorrow, Sunday, August 2nd, and that's it. It's just a quick flash sale to celebrate my shop. My shop is 10. She's a big girl. So thank you for watching, you guys, and I hope to see you tomorrow again. Take care.